fire in the hole. That's my goal. I did it. Now I'm going to retire and die. Yep. After I accomplish my goal, I realized I'm just going to die now. Ha ha ha. That's a good one. Ha 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 ha. That was a good one. Batman. I see you've come to the woods to fight me. Little did you know I have the trees on my side. Fire's warm though. It's super hot. That's why I never have any ice cubes in my drink. Because I'm always by I forgot to mention, I'm always by a fire. Fire, it'll burn you. That's why you always drop stuff. Because your hand's burnt and useless. But yeah, fire's pretty cool. You can make stuff out of it, and you can destroy things. You can make something out of fire in a kiln. It can facilitate the creation of a mug. Actually, Cuphead himself was forged in a fire to then only lay defeated from a fire boss in the video game Cuphead. The amazing gay cup going around sucking off other cups. Cuphead and his pal Mugman on their journey to blow as many cup creatures as they can with fire. They have fire mouths that they fire suck with. You're fired. You're fired. That's a strange phrase. You're fired. That's a burn. You get fired, that's a burn. It makes sense. It's a burn. It should sting when you get fired. Although, sometimes you get fired and it's a good thing. You get a better job. 'Tis the art of maybe so. That's this ancient proverb. Goes a little something. A soldier. No. A villager breaks his leg. He goes to the monk, asks for his word. The villager is saying how horrible it is he broke his leg, and then the monk says, maybe so. 3 weeks later, the city's army comes into town and recruits all these folk. He goes to the monk and says, it's great, I broke my leg, I don't have to become a soldier and maybe die from an explosion. But it'd be an ancient explosion. So the monk goes, maybe so. And it, can continue on from there. Oui, oui. Oui, oui. Oui, oui. Fire. Fire. Ha ha ha. The fuel of fire. The food of fire. T-pose. Alright, this is my sculpture right here. Pretty cool, eh? Well, it's a nice one here. There's the wood chips right there. Very nice, very nice. It's got like Easter Island sort of vibe. Different pillars, various textures. It is worse than the time I shit blood. This is worse. This is worse than the time that I exploded. This is worse than the time that I exploded. This is worse than the time I exploded. This is worse than the time I got caught fucking an elk. I inseminated an elk with my seed, and the baby came out all fucked up, and I ended up going to jail. This is worse than the time I was pulling my hair back and I ripped my skin off the back of my head. That hurt so bad. I had to use like 40 Band-Aids. This is worse than the time I said a racist joke in a sushi bar. I was sitting down and I said, hey, yeah, I'll get that racist shit out of here. This is worse. This is worse than the time I was wiping my ass and I went like that and I smeared shit all over my mouth, and there was a whole crowd of people and they were laughing at me. I hated it. This is worse than the time I was holding a baby bird and then I sneezed, squeezed my hand and killed it. It died so quickly. It was amazing. This is worse. This is worse than the time I slapped a professional boxer on the hand, and he wanted to fight me, so I did. I fought him, and I lost the game of chess that we fought. This is worse than the time I breathed in some cyanide. This is worse than the time I was very sad, and then a bee came and stung my lip. It was so vulnerable because I was so sad. This is the worst than the time a fire truck drove by and I grabbed my ears and I was so scared that I shit my pants. This is worse than the time I was laughing at this goose and he didn't want anything to do with me, so he bit my winkus. This is worse than the time my hands were cold. And so instead of having cold hands, I just took a mallet and I beat them. This is the worst than the time I was stretching and I fell over and I hit my shoulder bad and it really hurt. All right, that was Productivity Podcast, episode A Newborn Cat. The first segment, I was talking about fire. The second segment, I was doing some arm raises. The third segment, I was organically doing something with my body. Then that gave me an idea to tell a story. I was having different emotional transitions throughout that story as well. I would go excited talk about crushing a bird, a little fucked up, but it was pretty interesting to play around with. Then the fourth segment was me making a sculpture with some wood chips.